It's so hot in here. How long does it take to cook french fry? What stinks? Back hurts. I'm ready to go. Thank you. No straw. Look at this. This is so raggedy. And it's cold. I'm shocked.
Hey there, it's Carla with Carla's Notes, and today we're going to be talking about chronic complainers, Debbie Downers, those negative Nancys who just always have an issue with everything, no matter what it is. It seems like there's always a complaint to be said, however, there's no solutions to be given. We're going to talk about those people who constantly dump and dump and dump all their issues, but never want a solution to them. Those are our chronic complainers. We're going to watch a few videos where people are expressing how they feel about these types of people and what you can do if you encounter them.
Everyone knows someone who is just a chronic complainer. It doesn't matter what is going on in their life, they are going to find the negative and going to complain about it. And it can be incredibly draining to spend time with those people, frankly. So I'm going to give you the tips of what to do when you are spending time with those people. So number one, it's very important for these type of people to feel heard. When they're talking to you about their problems, have a empathetic and understanding line that you can go to. So not just like, that's crazy, but come up with something that lets them know that you are listening and make sure that you're set up for a productive conversation. A great line to go to is, wow, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that. That sounds really tough. Are you looking for solutions or do you just want me to listen and be there for you? Great line.
That will dictate how you proceed with the conversation. Am I going to be thinking about solutions for you, or do you just want a sounding board and want me to listen to what you have to say?
Number two, it might be helpful to shift them towards a problem solving mindset. And one way to do that is asking them questions that makes them start thinking about a solution and saying something like, I'm so sorry about X. How do you think you're going to solve blank? Because frankly, maybe they have not even thought about fixing it. They just wanted to complain. So that way you're shifting their mindset from negativity to productivity. Number three, lead by example. So when you're around these people that you know are just going to be negative, a great thing to do is to be very positive and be like the poster child for problem solving. Even better if you can talk about a time recently that you dealt with a challenge and how you were positive about it and you were able to solve it. And just do that like
Show them that it's possible. You're not the only one going through a hard time. I am as well, and I was able to get through it by doing things like this, and this. Nothing is the end all be all. There's something that can possibly be done to change your situation.
casually, just like talking about your life. Like, oh yeah, recently I was dealing with blah, blah, blah. But I didn't stress too much about it. And then I was able to solve it this way. So if you're leading by example, it's much harder for people like that to remain in their negative mindset because they're surrounded by your glorious positive light. And lastly, if all else fails, you know that I love boundaries. The most important word that you can learn is no. So that might not necessarily mean that you have to cut off this person from your life. It very well might. Listen, assuming that you are not their therapist, you can always say, it sounds like you're dealing with a lot right now. I unfortunately don't have a solution for you. So
Don't let anyone else's problems and their inability to change things about themselves to make their situations better drain you and your life, because you may be a problem solver. Like me, if I hear something's going on, I'm thinking of ways to make it better, right? And if you don't want to hear it and now I'm becoming annoying because I'm trying to address something I'm hearing, this is not going to work.
There is nothing more insufferable than a chronic complainer. These personality types are never satisfied with anything around them, they're never satisfied with the people around them, and they're never satisfied with themselves. And why they're so frustrating and draining to be around is because they are never open to finding solutions to their issues or whatever they're complaining about. And honestly, when you think about it, it makes sense. If nothing is ever good enough, why would there be a solution? The solution is still not going to be good enough. And God forbid you're ever positive around them or try to give them some words of positivity. It's going to go in one ear and out the other, unfortunately. And it's also one of the traits that led me to go no contact with one of my parents. And although I do wish that didn't have to be the case, don't be afraid to choose your own peace over maintaining the status of a familial title.
You have to set those boundaries, protect your own sanity, because at the end of the day, Only you can control that. I did a video on no contact with parents as well as saying no. It is okay to set a boundary and say, you know what, this is not for me. I'm not in the right headspace to deal with this. Let's talk about something else. That's okay to do. And if they don't want to understand and respect your boundary, you may have to disconnect from them for a while. And if you care about them, that may hurt, but you have to do what's best for you and your mental health and your stability.
Honestly, there's something that drains me more than somebody who complains about every fucking thing. And that is such an extension or a hallmark of a victim mentality. Everything is unfair. They complain about everything. Oh, it should be like this. I wish it was like this. And then the only active thing they do is actively complain. They don't actively do anything to try to change their situations. They're sitting back waiting to be saved. And they see everything as an obstacle instead of an opportunity. When you understand that you have the power to shape the experience that you have, you understand how powerful it is to the best of your ability, remain in a positive mindset and to look at everything as an opportunity, even things that disappoint you. Because
It is very important to stay optimistic and never be pessimistic. Your situation, don't stay content in that. Know you can do better and there's things you can do to change it.
it's not rejection, it's redirection. But people who complain about every goddamn thing see everything as an obstacle and everything is against them, and the chips are always stacked against me. Poor me, woe is me. That is so draining. And it's also really sad because I can't imagine, I can't and I refuse to put myself in the shoes of somebody who thinks like this, where everything is a slight against them, where they're offended by everything, where they have a complaint about every god thing.
Some people feel as if the world has a personal vendetta against them, and they're purposely trying to make it as hard as possible for them specifically to survive.
And I'm gonna just tell you right now, I'm at the point in my life where I do not have time for chronic complainers. I'm talking about people, every time you get around them, every time you get on the phone with them, all they do is complain. Mm-mm. A chronic complainer will bring you down. A chronic complainer will cause you to feel depressed because 9 times out of 10, that chronic complainer is experiencing depression themselves. I'm telling you, be careful and stay away from people who are chronic complainers.
Their energy shifts onto you. And again, if you're empathetic and you're a problem solver, you're constantly digging and trying to find ways to help them, and they don't really want your solutions. So you're really just taxing your brain, doing all this computing. They don't even want it. You want them to take these solutions, right? And they just won't. So that then starts to bother you because you don't want to see them like that. You don't want to see them in the worst case scenario. You want them to do better, and they just choose not to over and over again. And that's when you have to disconnect because there's nothing you can do for them. They have to decide to make those choices themselves.
Especially if you are a good-hearted person, especially if you are the type of person that like to give people solutions. Like, you don't want nobody to be around you just complaining about their problems and not at least try to help them figure it out. Stay away from them because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. One, you're going to give them your solutions. You're going to actually brainstorm for them, and they're going to either A, take the solutions and complain about them, or B, not take the solutions that you give them. I'm telling you, in 2026, if you're a chronic complainer, stay away from me.
Be very careful of how much complaining you allow in your life. And this goes with yourself, and this goes with the people that you surround yourself with. I find that nowadays, complaining has been one of the best and most sought out pastimes. This used to be my favorite pastime, especially going out happy hour, hanging out with friends, and all we do is just complain. Complain about our jobs, complain about other friends, complain about relationships, complain about the economy, the world, everything. It feels so good, like especially when you start hanging out. It feels so good in the moment. You're like, yeah. But you know what happens is that after we hang out, I always feel so bad. I always feel like I have this weird hangover of like some
That's because you're speaking so much negativity into your life and into your existence that your body is literally feeling that and conjuring up those emotions. Everything is bad, so your body's going to respond as such.
And what always happens is that I feel so powerless leaving those conversations. I always feel like I don't want to do anything because life seems so bleak. And I've done that for like a good 6, 7 years of my life.
It seems so bleak, honestly, because, and I'm sorry for pausing this so much, but it seems so bleak just because you and your friends are all co-signing each other and agreeing and saying we're all going through this stuff and nobody's doing anything. So everyone's being complacent. We need to have people in our circles that push us to do better for reasons like this. They are not going to sit around people who are complaining all about the same thing and no one's doing anything. Have someone in your circle that motivates and drives you to do better.
I stayed in the same job for the longest time and I never left. And I hung around the same people that I know weren't good for me because it just felt so good to be in that familiar, like, narrative. Because taking responsibility for my life was so much more work. I'd rather not. I'd rather just pop some wine and complain that life sucks for me. Absolved myself of responsibility. And guess what I did in that 7 years? Absolutely nothing. I did absolutely nothing. I was stagnant. I was stuck in a job. I was stuck with people. I was stuck being miserable. I would be like awake at 2 a.m. in the morning being like, why my life sucks.
Your words hold power. If you feel like you can't do anything about your situation, guess what? You won't be able to do anything about your situation. Speak better about yourself and speak better about the things you can do about your situations that you're in.
Thoughts become things. Whatever you're thinking, they will manifest. And remember that where your attention goes, energy flows. So if you're always in that mindset of victimization, life sucks, life this, life is everything, you've made yourself the central part and the main character of a victimhood life.
You're going to be just like your friends, and if not, you're going to become annoyed of their behavior. So you're either going to participate in some of the conversations that they're having negatively, or you're just going to start to push back and realize you don't want to be in those environments, and you probably won't be as close of friends as you thought.
Some of the most annoying people at work are those chronic complainers. They complain out loud to everybody, and we have to hear your annoying complaint as if everybody else doesn't fucking like their job as well. Like, mind you, like, yeah, I like my job sometimes, but are there things I don't like to do all the time? Yes. Do I want to hear, though, you complaining every second of the day? And, like, during the day when I can literally hear you feet away from me as, like, I'm trying to focus on my tasks that I have to do? Like, no, I really don't want to have to hear your annoying whiny voice all the time. Like, you're not the only one who is annoyed by certain things, and to like just feed into the negative energy, to feed into like the obvious reasons why we don't like to do something. That's fine. Like, but I don't want to have to hear you complain about it all the time. It's quite literally so annoying. And people that are like just outright complainers, like don't care how it comes across, don't care that it bothers people. You are so insanely annoying.
Literally, we work at the same job. Please don't complain because I guarantee you none of us would choose to be here if we had a choice. And I guarantee you some of us are probably looking on the application sites for something better. We share the same idea, but we don't need to hear you complain every day. Like, be for real. Nobody wants to be here. Let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest. But while I'm toughing through it, I don't need to hear you complaining about it. I need you to toughen through it too.
I just diagnosed myself. And I've realized I have chronic complaining. I'm a chronic complainer. 'Cause I hate everything.
The honesty, we love that. We're here for it. Once you acknowledge it, you can change it.
How to shut down complainers. Step 1, acknowledge, don't absorb. When someone keeps unloading the same complaints, don't feed it with more sympathy than it deserves. Say, that's been frustrating. That shows empathy, but it stops the emotional transfer. You recognize the feeling without carrying it. Step 2, redirect to solutions. After acknowledging, guide them forward. Say, so what do you think might help? This flips the script. It shifts them from venting mode to responsibility mode. Now they have to look for answers or realize that they just want to complain. Step 3, Set a gentle boundary. If they keep looping back, it's okay to draw the line. Say, I care about you. At the same time, if we're not focused on solutions, I don't think this conversation is helping either of us. You're not being cold, you're being clear. You protect your peace without killing the relationship.
And we're going to come back to some of these steps in our notes later. Let's go over a few takeaways from those videos. So what should we do if we come across someone who is a chronic complainer? First, you want to acknowledge the issue and whatever impact it may be having on their life. Second, you want to help guide them, if they want, to a solution. Do they want you to problem solve, or do they just want you to act as a sounding board? You have to determine what their objective is in this conversation. Thirdly, set your boundaries. Let them know how far into these conversations you're willing to go. And the fourth and last thing, protect your peace. If you have to refrain from having conversations with this person because of the energy they give off, do that. That wraps up our notes for the day. Again, this has been Carla with Carla's Notes. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I will see you guys next time.